Hello, it's Jennifer McGuire. Lately I've been using stencils a lot because it's a very inexpensive tool that can be used in many ways. Today I wanted to show you how you could create a really cool color gradient effect using your stencils, and it's very easy to do and doesn't take much time at all. So let's go ahead and create this card. I have cut a piece of regular white cardstock to 5.5 by about 3.5, and I'm just going to tape it onto my little cutting board here just so I can pick it up and rotate it very easily. I just like to tape my paper down when using a stencil so it doesn't shift. I have this new stencil from Hero Arts. I just love this pattern. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to tape it down with painter's tape at an angle. I wanted to have the pattern kind of go at an angle on my paper. Now you'll see the reason I've taped it down onto a cutting board is so I can easily rotate it on my work surface. Now I'm going to go ahead and mask off just one area of these open lines in my stencil. I want to kind of follow the pattern. And I have a bunch of distress inks. Distress inks work best for this technique because they're designed to blend well, but you could try this with any inks that you may have. I've gathered some blues and greens that I wanted to use that would blend nicely together. But the nice thing about distress inks is you can really blend any of the distress inks with each other. So I decided to start with the Faded Jeans. I'm using the mini ink blending tool because I think this is a fantastic size inking tool. It's much smaller than the original and it has a round tip, so it just is really easy to blend with without any harsh edges. So I first did the Faded Jeans kind of going from one side of my masked off area to the other side and letting it kind of fade out. Now this time I'm going in with Salty Ocean and I'm blending from the other side in. And you can see the colors overlap a little bit in the center, creating a really cool color gradient. Now I'm moving my mask over and putting another one down so I have the next row there revealed. I'm going to use the Salty Ocean again. You can see I'm keep rotating this back and forth to make it easier to do the blending. And I'm going to just pull the color from the outside in. I kind of use my ink blending tool at somewhat of an angle so that I can pull the color really deep from the outside and then soften it when I go towards the inside of my masked area. So you can see I can always work from the outside in, and this creates very quick and easy blending. I don't have to take much time to make sure I get perfect blending because this ink and this inking tool really do the work for you. So this time I have like a teal color and I'm going to blend it into the Mowed Lawn Green, which is my favorite kind of Kelly green color. So I'm just going to continue to do this down the line. Next up I have some peeled paint ink, and then I'm going to continue to blend that into the Faded Jeans again, and I'm repeating the colors to Salty Ocean until I have my entire background covered. And it only took a few minutes to do this, and I just think that effect is so cool. You could do it with feminine colors, masculine colors. This is a great technique for just about any style. Now again, if you don't have distress inks and the ink blending tool, you could try this with pretty much any ink and any inking tool, but definitely the distress inks and the ink blending tool really work well together to create the easy blending. I also think this technique would work with pretty much any stencil. You could even do an ombre effect. Okay, so for the greeting on this, I wanted to keep it very simple. I have a new stamp set from Basic Gray and Hero Arts. This speaking bubble and greeting actually are two separate stamps that I've mounted together onto one acrylic block. Now since I'm using black embossing powder, I'm first going to use my anti-static powder tool just to rub along my cardstock here so we don't get any of the powder sticking where we don't want it. Going to stamp my greeting with Versamark ink and add some black embossing powder. However, I'm using Ranger Black Sparkle embossing powder. It's got a little bit of glitter in it that really just adds some fun to it, and actually the color seems to match pretty much any project you have. It pulls out the colors that you have on your project. So I'm cutting this out with a little trim around the edge, and it's time to put our card together. Now I was going to originally make a black note card in the background, but it didn't work for me. So I'm just going to instead create a black thin strip to use as an accent on my card. So I'm putting in my black cardstock here and just cutting a very thin strip, and I thought that would be a nice finishing edge to the stenciled background that we created. So I'm going to cover it with some adhesive and just put it right along the edge here. The black note card in the background seemed to be too heavy, so that little thin strip of black cardstock did just the right job. I just added this onto a regular white note card. Then I can easily add my greeting and I'm good to go. I think this is one of those cards that you could change up and do a variety of styles or looks, and you can even make it more elaborate if you wanted to. It would also be a good one to mass produce. Now if you're interested in any of these products, they're linked below in my YouTube description. As always, you can go to my blog if you want to, and there's much more information there. As always, I appreciate you spending some time with me, and I hope this inspires you to use your stencils in another fun way.